stunning place to start the Whangarei Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship powered by Brother. Whangarei has a reputation for being action-packed. Does it live up to that reputation? Let's check out the action.
Brother International Rally Whangarei lived up to its reputation and proved to be a tough challenge to the competitors from New Zealand and overseas. Saturday morning saw former WRC drivers PG Anderson and Chris Atkinson take an early lead in their respective S2000 cars. But on stage 2, Anderson lost a tyre and with it 8 places. Chris West won this event in 2008 and was again showing plenty of pace. The Kiwi Group N driver took over the lead and would hold on to it from Atkinson as the cars headed back to Whangarei and the first service. Richard Mason had been fastest on stage 2, but a diff failure in his Subaru put him out for the day. While in the similar Group N Subaru, Emma Gilmore held third. West continued his lead on stage 5, but Atkinson had closed the gap to 7.5 seconds. PG Anderson was the man on the move though, winning the stage and making up 3 places to be back in the top 5. He was starting to threaten 4th place Kingsley Thompson, who had done well to stay with the leaders. But on stage 6, West had a clutch failure. Once again, the Mitsubishi driver was robbed of a rally win and would have to rejoin on day 2 in order to get any New Zealand Championship points. By the end of the day, Chris Atkinson had a 1-minute lead. PG Anderson overtook Emma Gilmore on the final stage of the day to be in second, with Gilmore just 0.3 back in third. Thompson had held on to 4th, while Gaurav Gill was yet to match Atkinson in the other MRF Skoda, settling for 5th. Alistair McRae had battled handling issues with his Proton all day and was over 2.5 minutes down on the leaders in 6th, ahead of Kiwi Matt Jansen and his Group N Subaru. Day 2 and Atkinson could afford to back off with around a 1-minute lead. PG Anderson set about catching him over the 8 stages and trying hard to set some new stage records in the process. Emma Gilmore looked to be New Zealand's best hope, but her times over the morning saw her drift back. And then on the 4th stage, she lost 3 minutes with a puncture and was out of contention. Gaurav Gill moved into 3rd, while Kingsley Thompson was struggling to stay in the top 5. His rear diff had broken loose after a drive shaft broke, and he was having to make running repairs before the cars returned to service. Alistair McRae was having a better morning and now just 7.5 seconds behind Thompson, while Kiwi driver Matt Jansen was now 7th. At service, PG Anderson was still 42 seconds down on Atkinson. The rally was Atkinson's if he could keep going at a moderate pace. Despite repairs to Thompson's car in service, he was still nursing it through the stages. McRae got past on stage 13. Then on stage 14, Thompson dropped more time. Matt Jansen moved past and was now 5th, the first Group N car in the rally behind the 4 S2000 cars. And that is how they would finish. Atkinson taking first outright and first in the APRC section. First Kiwi in the Brother International Rally of Whangarei, Matt Jansen. And an outstanding effort by Christchurch driver Josh Marston, coming home in 9th overall and first 2-wheel drive in his Group N Ford Fiesta.
Later on in the show, we're going to be previewing Rally Wairarapa. Meanwhile, check out what I've found. Some really cool cars, some old and some new.
Ross brings this sweet little 1975 Toyota Celica to the Historic Challenge in 2012.
I started rallying in 1970, 75 in a Mark I Escort Mexico. Joined back up just recently by building this little Celica behind me. It's an RA20 1975 model World Rally car of its time in Group 2 spec. The car was built by Neil Allport. We're running it here with Neil's assistance in the Whangarei Rally and hope to do well.
Brian Green may be one of the oldest drivers, but he brings a great piece of modern rally machinery to the championship.
For this year we've got a 2010 Mitsubishi Evolution 10 which is behind me here. The car is a 4-wheel drive car, it's anti-lag so you don't have any turbo delay when you come out of a corner. car has very big brakes on it for what it is. You can adjust the drive between the front and the back of the car. You can adjust the amount of braking you've got on the front to the back. The car is fully equipped with full FIA roll cages, seats, the harness devices the crew have to wear, crash helmets, etc. So it's actually a very, very safe sport. The car produces around about 270 odd horsepower in its present form. You have to run a restrictor for the New Zealand Rally Championship, and that restricts the power back to that. The car would normally produce around 435 horsepower.
That's a couple of days' work in an average workshop, done here in 20 minutes. Seems to me like a fine balance of skill, time management and a little bit of panic.
One of the slickest operations in the service park is Team MRF. The mechanics are Kiwis, but the team boss is Lane Heenan from Aussie.
I'm Lane Heenan, team manager of Team MRF. My role in the team is to coordinate everything between the events and on the events, so shipping, logistics, flights, hotels, generally just look after the whole running of the team from every event from New Zealand through the 6 events right through to China at the end of the year. Logistically this year has been challenging because we only decided to come the middle of February, so these cars actually both come from Europe, so we had to air freight the cars out here, get them rebuilt in Europe, and then literally arrive here, find out what we've got and prepare them. So yeah, it's been more challenging than normal. This year we're down to 16 people, 8 mechanics, 2 drivers, 2 co-drivers, myself and coordinator.
And running the operations inside the car for driver Gurav Gill is Dunedin co-driver Glenn McNeil.
I mean, this team, we're very, very lucky. We have a group of great mechanics and good management as well. So we can focus on doing what we do, which is awesome.
So when out of the car, is there any other roles that you have to do? Do you have to help change tyres or do anything like that?
Between stages we do. Obviously, like sort of manage the tyre wear, like change them front to back, or we carry 2 spares, things like that. But obviously, calling pace notes is one of the major things that you have to do in the car, but also sort of looking after him and sort of babysitting him as well.
When you say pace notes, how do you generate those?
Yeah, we went out yesterday and did recce for all the stages. It's controlled how many passes you can do on each stage, so you do 2 passes of all the stages. They're Gore's interpretation of the road. He calls the notes, I write them down, and then we check them one other pass.
So pace notes is kind of like a language between you and the driver that only you guys would understand?
Yeah, basically. I mean, all the systems are fairly similar, but if somebody grabbed Gore's notes, no, they probably couldn't drive as well on them because it's his own interpretation of the road.
20 to short, flat 6 left, 90 to 5 right, plus entry, bridge. 50.
Later on in the show we're going to look at the art of spectating, but for now I've come to a place which I've been told is one of the best spots for spectating. Is that right, Dean?
Oh, well, I reckon it is. The old Hella Bridge is always good entertainment and getting some air and good corner there. A few cars have obviously rolled there in their time.
So what are some of your favourite memories?
We came up here one year, Rally New Zealand on the train, and that was a bit of a buzz, you know, and watched a few stages, and just WRC cars are always good through here.
So how long have you been a spectator for?
Oh, I've been watching rallying since the late 80s.
And whereabouts have you come from today?
Christchurch.
Wow, that's a long way to come.
Yeah, well, we're here with Marcus in the RX-7, so up here helping him.
Well, it's good to see that people come from far and wide just to see the sport.
Coming up on Rally Nation, Sloane Cox puts Alistair McRae under the grill, and Alex Kelsey shows us around his big boys toy. Whangarei, there was also a parallel rally. Yes, the Clubman's Rally runs on the same roads and caters for those cars which no longer qualify under international rally rules. Alex Kelsey led the way in his home-built Subaru WRC replica and was fastest over the morning stages. His main competition coming from Dave Strong in his older S2000 Fiesta. The car requires some modification to bring it back into international homologation, so Strong was forced to enter the Clubman's Rally. He has a new co-driver and was competitive from the start. Third through the morning stages was Matt Summerfield, who had changed from his diesel Skoda to this Subaru for 2012. Justin Glavish was performing a giant-killing exercise in his little Starlet. He was fourth overall, although he's not entered in the championship, but would be a welcome addition to the open two-wheel drive class if he could find a budget. Marcus van Klink dominated the historic class in his RX-7, despite a few wild moments in the opening stages.
6 left minus 30 to a very long 6 right.
In the afternoon, Kelsey continued to dominate, while Strong and Summerfield cemented their positions. The non-championship car of Dylan Turner moving up to fourth, then passing Summerfield for third. Marcus van Klink continued to lead the historic class and was up to sixth overall. Behind him, Duncan McCrosty had his Nissan Bluebird humming, but outpaced on the fast stages by the RX-7. Ron Davey was third in that class, keeping ahead of the Toyota of Miles McElwain. And another Toyota that added interest to the historics was the RA20 Celica of Ross Clark. Day 2 and only 11 competitors made the start line. By now, Kelsey looked unbeatable and his times would place him as first New Zealand Championship car overall. Matt Summerfield moved back into third on stage 10 when Dylan Turner retired. And the RX-7 of Marcus van Klink was well ahead in the historic class and now fourth overall. Van Klink had settled down and was putting up some great times across these stages, twisty and technical, so there was a lot of work going on behind the wheel.
5 left into 5 right.
Dave Strong had a disappointing end to his rally when an alternator wire came off and the car rolled to a stop. So at the end of the day, Alex Kelsey had won the Clubman's Rally of Whangarei, scored top points in the overall New Zealand Championship and becomes the youngest driver to win a round of the New Zealand Rally Championship. Matt Summerfield gets his Open Class Championship off to a good start and Marcus van Klink will lead the historics. So, in the New Zealand Rally Championship standings, Alex Kelsey leads with 31 points over Emma Gilmore 23 and Matt Jansen 22. In the Group N Gold Star standings, the bonus points have come into play and Matt Jansen leads over Emma Gilmore and Kingsley Thompson. Brian Green leading West and Mason after they didn't finish day 1.
60% of the APRC cars are front-wheel drive, so it's back to the future for the rally cars. However, looking forward to the future is young Mitsubishi driver Sloane Cox.
Hi, my name is Sloane Cox. I'm 20 years old from Rotorua. I drive the Taslo Engineering Mitsubishi Evo 10. I'm hoping to make it top of my sport, make it to the WRC ultimately. I've got a few questions I'd like to ask someone who's been there.
Hi, I'm Alistair McRae, originally from Scotland, now in Australia, and I'm here in New Zealand with the Proton Motorsport APRC team.
What is the one tip you have to help an up-and-coming rally driver make it overseas?
I think, to try and make it overseas, you've got to put everything into getting there, and I guess nowadays you would probably look at doing something like the WRC Academy, where you're into a Fiesta or whatever, the same as all the other young guys, and you can prove yourself against them in the same type of machinery.
How did you get to the point where you trust your pace notes fully?
I sometimes wonder myself now. Trusting your pace notes, you've got to do it from the start. They are there to make you go as quickly as possible. A lot of people make the mistake of making notes that save you going off the road, but they're not there to stop you going off the road. They're there, to make you go as fast as possible, and you've got to trust them from the start. But you develop it over the years into something that allows you to use every single bit of the road and hopefully not go off.
Do you think the S2000 rally car is where the future of rallying and WRC is going, and why?
Obviously at the moment with the WRC they've gone, or looked like they were going down the S2000 route, and then they've gone to the 1600 turbo, but basically the car chassis wise is very safe, it's very similar as the S2000, so for sure I think the WRC's got to have a car that's slightly better than what can be used anywhere else in the world, and the S2000 fits in very close behind that, so I think that it's got to look pretty good and get more manufacturers involved and hopefully help the sport and help the young guys get in there, because there is more manufacturers.
Look what I've found tucked over here in the service corner. Now this is every kid's dream. Alex Kelsey, I know that you've been the man behind this build. I've built a few cars myself, and I tell you what, this looks like you went a little bit over budget.
Yeah, not too much over budget because so much was done myself.
So talk about the engine. I mean, how much can you change, how much can't you change?
The engine's very limited, we're stuck to the restrictor, which is regulation, and it's very limited. That's why I did the suspension and built it that way, because very, not much rules, and you can do a lot of what you want to do and not limited.
Off camera before, you said that you built and designed this yourself.
The whole lot was my design, everything was made by me. There's nothing left Subaru in the suspension in the front, there's only one part left in the rear. So to do that, it's a huge job and it takes a hell of a lot of time. Very worthwhile, because the reason to do it was to double the amount of wheel travel we had, to make it more like a current world rally car. All the subframe was my design and the rest is all handmade as well.
So have you had much of an opportunity to test this car with that new suspension?
Yeah, it was built ready for the start of last year, and we've had all of last year doing regional rallies and a lot of small events, developing it and getting all the testing out of the way, and so it's all ready for now.
Well, Alex, I've been wandering around the car and I can't help but notice that's not a normal gear knob.
Yep, it's a Modena 6-speed sequential gearbox, so it makes it a lot easier. You just got to push down to go down the gears and pull back to go up the gears, and there's a sensor inside this gear knob that you just hold your foot flat on the floor and pull the stick. It was an old rally car to start with, and I stripped it completely to the shell and took all the paint off and then built it up with my design of the suspension and basically a new car. It's only the body shell that was the old one.
What was the build time from start till now?
So it was most probably about 4 months total in the off season, and it really happened in a hurry, and to design it and make it all in that time when you got heat treatment and all sorts of other things to look at, it was good to get it done in that time.
Wow, you really are living every kid's dream. Well, good luck. Thanks for showing us around your car.
No, thank you very much.
Next up on Rally Nation, your personal guide to the rally stages. And our drivers share the stages they love. That's coming up on Rally Nation.
Well, it's been a beautiful rally, and what a beautiful place to end it at the marina. Now, I've got to say, this is one guy I see popping up everywhere. Paul, otherwise known as Barge, how hard is it to get around the rally?
It's not too hard. You just need to get obviously a good map from the organisers, and generally most organisers produce a really good colourful map that's easy to read. Get out to the stages, parking's really easy to find, and then just obey the marshals. That's the big thing. If you go to a place where there's no marshals, never stand on the outside of a corner.
So how did you get your first buzz in rallying?
Well, spectating actually, Kendyl. I was 3 when I went to my first international rally with my father, and in those days you had to drive for miles to see a few stages. Now these days the rallies are more compact and they go back to one service park, and it's a lot easier to follow, and the rally's a lot easier to watch. So yeah, it's spectating, so get out there and enjoy it.
Well, on that note, it's Rally Wairarapa coming up, round 2. Let's see what the drivers think.
Rally Wairarapa is based in Masterton at the Solway Park Hotel. Rally HQ is active from Thursday, so if you need spectator maps, information or advice, the team will be there to help you. On Saturday morning, you can see the cars leave Masterton at 8 a.m. They will head out to the coast for 2 awesome stages. First, homeward, then it's back across to Alfredton through the Castle Hill stage with this incredibly fast downhill stretch at the finish. There is spectating opportunities mid-stage 3, Marianga Road, and you'll have time to whip back to the start of Stage 4, Rimu Road, and maybe even detour back through Whangarei to the end of Stage 5. Be sure to have a look at the tyres when the cars return to service, just to see how hard the drivers have been going. If you're lucky, Richard Mason might even show you how he cuts his Dunlop tyres to suit the stages.
G'day, I'm Richard Mason and I'm looking forward to Wairarapa. My favourite stage is the Pori.
Yes, Pori Road is next. Fast uphill with a narrow downhill finish that rewards the brave. Then it's a blast through North Road on the rev limiter at the end. There is good spectating at the intersection, but you might want to head to the final stage, Te Pārai Road instead. This is the power stage for the rally, and there is good spectating 1 kilometre in from the start or the finish. Day 2 leaves Masterton at 7:40 a.m, but you should head straight to Ekatahuna where the cars will prepare for the day. Great spectating on the first stage, Quarry Cliff Road, a good warm-up for the drivers.
Hi, I'm Emma Gilmore. I'm looking forward to the next rally of Wairarapa. My favourite stage there is Central Mangaone.
Yes, Central Mangaone is awesome. Check out the intersection where the cars arrive on the tarmac in 4th gear, flat through the corner onto gravel. Head back to Ekatahuna for service beside the community centre. Stage 12 and 15 share some of the same road, so if you enter stage 15 early enough before road closure, you can spend the afternoon locked into the stage. These roads are really fast, so the Group N cars will be spectacular, but stay around to hear the classics like Marcus van Klink's RX-7 really wind up through the stages.
Short 5 right.
If you missed North Road on day 1, head to the spectator spot today. And before service, there will be a repeat of Quarry Cliff Road. There is another service at Ekatahuna before Mangaoranga.
Hi, my name's Chris West. Looking forward to the next round at Wairarapa, and our favourite stage for the weekend will be Barton's Line.
This is the Barton's Line stage, and there's great spectator spots near the end as the cars head from the tarmac to a tight gravel road with deep ditches either side.
Hi, I'm Matt Jansen. I'm looking forward to our next round of the New Zealand Rally Championship at Rally Wairarapa. Looking forward to my favourite stage, Daggs Road.
The final stage, Daggs Road, is a real challenge for the drivers. Richard Mason had a huge moment here last year on his way to winning the rally.
We'll be back with highlights of Rally Wairarapa in 2 weeks' time, and Rally Nation will be counting down to round 3 of Rally Otago a week later. I'm Kendyl Coleman. This has been Rally Whangarei. We'll see you again soon.